Hi, Adventure Alan here, and I'm excited to talk to you about Gossamer Gear's DCF Dyneema Composite Fabric 1 tent, their one-person tent. This is a big deal because this has not been available in DCF, which is the Rolls-Royce, the high end of tent fabrics. And we have it out for a few days on the Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania in December. So some pretty challenging conditions for a single-walled shelter. It's a cold morning. We had frost here. It's incredibly heavy dew. Allison is over here in a hammock next to me. She's out there and she's just covered in condensation. I mean, there's dew all over her sleeping bag. And I'm actually doing a little better over here. So I'm gonna walk into the tent and sort of discuss its performance with condensation. Okay, let's talk about the highlights of this tent. First of all, it is Dyneema Composite Fabric, which is the Rolls-Royce of tent fabrics. It comes in at 15 ounces for a one-person shelter with full bug protection, bathtub floor, bomber wind resistance, a pretty amazing thing, and that's due to this half ounce per square yard DCF fabric. It's got a nice catenary cut on this ridge line. You can see it's just super top pitch here. Obviously, you know, full bug protection here, nice vent in that back panel. And one of the things I like that Gossamer Gear has done is this is actually a sill nylon floor, which is a really smart choice because one, it helps keep the cost down just a little bit, but sill nylon is probably a better material for a tent floor. It is a full bathtub floor, by the way. It also makes it pack a little more compactly. So like that. We can sort of walk around the tent here. Kind of nice. You can actually put these stakes in, just spread your arms out and stake them out both at the same time, which makes it easier to stake. Nice sheltered rear vent here. This peak here actually has a very large vent, which seems to have actually done a pretty good job of ventilating the tent overnight and controlling condensation with night. And you can see that these both the front and rear poles, there is they slope outward, which protects dew or rain from coming in on the awning. It's actually true on the front of the tent here. This is actually sloping out this way a bit, which actually gives a little bit of a rain and condensation shadow to the tent, even with the vestibule doors. Obviously the zippers on the front door here are waterproof. There's kind of a nice clothesline set up in here. And going in here, I'll just show you, they also comes with some additional tie-out lines here in the bag. I'll pull one of these guys out here. And the tent comes with a nice set of stakes, these aluminum Y stakes right here, 6 of them. Glenn Van Pesky of Gossamer Gear recommends upgrading to these wider, more beefy stakes for the ridgeline tie-outs, and I agree with that. And that leaves 2 of these Y stakes available for staking out points on the shelter if you have really strong winds. And you do have these additional tie-out cords, which is nice. Comes with a stuff sack, and this is actually a DCF Dyneema Composite Fabric patch kit. So complete set of accessories that come with this tent, and nice ones at that. Ridgeline tie-outs, if it was super windy, you can come in and close up on the stake. Rather than these aluminum Y stakes, which are actually doing great right here, I'd probably put right here for the ridgeline tie-outs, I'd use these larger stakes. So let's talk about this condensation in this Gossamer Gear DCF One. First of all, it's a pretty snug tent. It's pretty narrow in the foot section. It's only about a little bit over 20 inches. It's wider up here. It's 31 inches here at the head end. It is sufficient. I was actually able to stay away from everything that was condensing overnight, which is nice. This back wall here is dry, which is really excellent. I didn't expect that to happen, so I didn't have to worry about brushing up against this. And we know it's super condensing conditions, so if this back wall is not condensed, that's really good. I do like that this front wall, it's you can't see it in the camera here, but it actually slopes out this way. So the peak is a little further out than the bottom here. So that actually protects me from dew coming down into the tent. My shoes were really wet this morning. You don't need to show them. But you know, the most condensation is about where you would expect it. It's up at the head end of the tent here. But you can see it's not really bad at all. It's not running down the walls or getting into the bathtub section here. So I'm actually surprised at how well this is done with condensation. I've actually done much better with condensation than I had any reason to hope for. And again, I've have two friends out here, Allison and then my friend Ian, who's hammock camping, and they're both just drenched. They didn't have tarps up, and their top quilts are completely saturated. So for a single wall shelter, this is really amazing performance. There's not really tons of condensation on this, and again, super heavy dew. So this is just an installment of the review on the tent. I'll have more on it, but really this is the stuff that you want to know about a single wall shelter. Is how does it perform in really heavy dew? And the Gossamer Gear DCF One is actually, I'm very pleased with it. All right, so let's talk about sizing on this tent. This is a 15-ounce tent that's super strong. It's got a really nice, super solid pitch here, very wind resistant. One of the things that they've done to make that weight is this is not a huge tent. This is not a lounge around in it, stretch out, bring your dog in it with you. But that being said, I'm pretty happy with the interior space of this tent. I thought it was going to be a little tighter than it actually is. I do have enough room at the foot of the tent for a fairly large sleeping bag. I'm in a very puffy quilt here, and there's enough room for it. I can pretty much stay away from the walls when I'm sleeping. I have some room at the head here for my gear, a ditty bag, a jacket, stuff sack, but you're definitely not going to bring your pack in the tent with you. But there is a fairly large vestibule area. I've got it peeled back for views and the stars tonight. But there's definitely enough room in the vestibule area for your shoes and pack and stuff. But this is definitely a hiker's tent, a minimalist tent. And if you're looking for something bigger, we suggest you look at the DCF2, which really, if you need a bit more room, is actually a legitimate one-person shelter in addition to being a two-person shelter. So yeah, let's talk about headroom. So I've got these poles set at 120 centimeters. So that's about 45, 47 inches. So a nice headroom to sit up in here. I think you saw me sitting up in the tent earlier. That is very concentrated in the center of the tent here. You can see it's a pretty steep slope towards where my head is. But there is, on the head end of this tent, there is a nice width. It's pretty tapered towards the foot, but in the head end of this tent, you can look in here and see there's plenty of room to put gear and stuff at the head end of the tent. Okay, so here is the Gossamer Gear DCF One in sort of full storm mode deployment. Again, I wouldn't do this unless it was actually raining or blowing really hard, but it is super stable. You can see it's a nice top pitch. It has a reasonably generous 10 square foot vestibule here that we'll go ahead and take a look at again. Again, this is a 15-ounce shelter, and it is pretty darn storm-worthy. I mean, it's got a nice solid stakeout, nice tension in this tent. So been pretty happy with it in terms of its stability. But let's go ahead and take a look into the vestibule here. So this is definitely where you would store your pack and stuff if it were raining. I'm just gonna tie this thing back here. And I have my pack stored in here, room for your pack and shoes and everything else. And one of the features I like that they've done with this shelter, and a lot of other people don't, is they actually, I can unclip this side, the vestibule, and there's still a cord going out to the ridge line of the tent. So I can actually peel this vestibule back and not lose tension on the ridge line, which a lot of tents don't allow you to do. So that's a really nice feature. Anyway, if you like this video, please go ahead and like it on my YouTube channel. Please go ahead and follow my YouTube channel. Go ahead and click that bell so you get notified of all our great new content that's coming up. We're always putting out new videos. And again, thanks for watching. And this is Adventure Alan signing out.